greatest in the whole experience.
And you're loud.
Good morning. You're listening to AVNewsCast.com.
Yes, you
That's
are.
it.
That's it.
No other, nothing else on the end of that.
That's it. You look so far away, Jeff.
Oh,
Nothing
Man,
else
we're not
on the end of that.
not across from each other anymore.
No. You
What?
look so far away.
Oh, I'm here.
Are you in India?
No.
Okay.
You know, I like that there's nothing else on the end of that.
Me too. And I
And no
like the fact that I
disclaimer
can
beforehand.
breathe and I can say what I want.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Now my headphones
Now
are
you're
doing some
mono?
funky stuff.
Okay, I'm
yeah,
still-
but welcome to AVNewsCast.com, the #1 news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley,
That's right.
now coast to coast
Yes.
and global.
Yeah, that's pretty
Which
hot.
is it's pretty hot.
That is.
So you can go to the AV Newscast website. You can listen to us
Yep.
on Spreaker Radio, and there's a little tab on our website that you can just click that, or you can watch us, and hopefully you're watching us.
Yeah.
And this is something we've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
And Spreaker, you can just download the app, so you could just listen anytime you
just
want if it's more convenient.
it's in the Apple Store,
Yep.
and also
I'm sure it's in that whack other phone store too. Google Apps or
We
whatever.
don't worry about that.
it's in both app stores. Yeah, so you can do either
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, this being our very first broadcast, we enjoyed, being on the show and doing the show with for you people for the last several years. But a few weeks ago, we were told that we couldn't talk about politics.
How do you do that? How do you have
I
a
don't
talk
know.
radio show and not talk about politics?
I don't know.
Apparently, none of the rest of the shows on that particular station have to follow that because I mean, you got Hannity, you got all
Yeah, and it
How do
doesn't make any sense.
right.
That's purposely done. There's no way that there's some FCC you can't do it because Hannity says, he says whatever he wants on a regular.
Right.
And so that's the
And Dennis Miller and all of that.
Yeah.
But politics in the Antelope Valley or politics anywhere very much
Yeah.
affect everyone's lives and the quality of life that you work for.
Yeah.
And so it's important for us to be able to bring you news and information, especially when it covers politics, and especially when it's local.
Yeah.
And telling us that we couldn't do that, we decided, well, we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And so we are now
We're
at the
unshackled.
AV Newscast.
Yeah,
We're unshackled. Is what
We are. We absolutely are.
I do miss the people over at the
I do.
station.
Gilbert and Shauna
Yeah.
and Brian, terribly.
I do miss them.
Well, they're listening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they are.
Well, I miss you guys.
They are. Because they're all hitting me up on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, which is cool. Which a lot of people
They're not
are.
hitting me up, Shauna.
oh,
you know.
everybody just hits Steve up.
Yeah.
No.
The rest of us don't matter.
Right, because it's the Steve show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Aw.
Nice. Saturday in Palmdale, there was a protest against the release of serial rapist Christopher Hubert to the Antelope Valley. And, there was a protest last October when they attempted to release him. But the owners of the house that he was going to move into, they took that off the market. Now he's got another house, and he's set to move in there. And so there was a large protest on Rancho Vista and 10th Street West. And a lot of people were there.
No, but we've got our work cut out with this owner, right? Because isn't this owner...
Yeah, they're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah,
apparently,
so
these
this
two.
is going to be crazy.
This owner actually attempted to pay someone to kill his wife,
Yes.
the owner of the property. Okay?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, what's amazing is...
the judge was like, I know who to go after. Let me go after somebody that's going to, not have an issue with what this guy did.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, well, what happened was the last owner changed his mind because of public pressure, because they weren't as gung-ho misogynist as this guy is.
Right.
But now, they found the perfect guy.
What's amazing is you look at the judge's order, and I had posted that up on Facebook, but you look at the judge's order, and he says that there was a preponderance amount of information that indicated that Christopher Hubert, a 40-time convicted serial rapist, should be released.
What evidence?
What
was the evidence?
And the judge's order was only a page and a quarter.
I don't even understand what the evidence was.
After hearing all the evidence, the judge says there's no question I have to release him.
But here's the question.
Now, the judge is retiring.
But is he from the Antelope Valley, this guy? The rapist?
No.
So
why
are we the dumping ground, is what I want to know. Why does he have to come to us? Why can't he go to... I mean, if that's not a factor, then he should go to the judge's neighborhood.
Yes. Oh, we can't have that. That's a nice gated community.
Whatever.
That's ever gonna
Give him a guest house.
I agree. And I have the judge's address. I just haven't posted it yet. But that's where he should go. Now, the judge is set to retire. The judge announced that he's retiring, so he really doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
And this is like his last official thing that he's going to do.
Isn't that a great legacy?
That's what he wants to go out on.
Isn't that a great legacy?
You think?
No.
No, I know. You're being sarcastic.
Absolutely facetious.
But the judge believes that this is where he wants to go. L.A. County DA Jackie Lacey actually on written and oral motion argued with the judge the last time. She was not successful.
Because the judge has lost his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the first time.
Tell me what to do.
And this is not the first time that we've seen judges lose their mind.
No. Now, at Saturday's protest, State Senator Steve Knight was there, who's running for U.S. Congress. Assemblyman Steve Fox was there.
Right.
Palmdale Mayor Pro Tem Tom Lackey was there, who's running for California State Assembly. J.D. Kennedy was there, another candidate for State Assembly.
Well, you would imagine that everybody... Lancaster Mayor was there, wasn't he?
I was only there for a half an hour.
So you don't know if he was there?
Because I had to leave.
But he wasn't there when you were there?
No, a lot of people weren't there yet. Okay? So
are you saying that you don't know if he came?
I'm not even aware. I'm not aware of... Really? On our opening show?
Get you, boy.
On our first show, you want to do that?
I'm just saying the obvious. It is about that. It is about that. Every person that's trying to run to represent me or where I live should be there. Am I right or wrong, Jeff?
I agree. 100%.
Okay. A lot of people were there.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
I'm
glad that JD was there. Was Suzette there?
She was there later on. I saw a lot of pictures that she was in, so she was there later on. She wasn't there when I was there. The protest was much, much larger than it was last October when they started doing that. A lot of news media was there covering it as well. CBS Channel 2, the LA Times was up there. KCAL 9 was up there.
Nice.
Okay, so there was a lot of other media. Nice. And the ladies from Little Rock that have... Remember Vladimir, who originally started the petition on change.org. Now these ladies have actually jumped in, and they've started the whole thing. And J.D. Kennedy, somehow, he's involved in that too. Okay, so he's doing that as well, and he's working with them. There's a lot of people that are very, very upset. But I'm really concerned that if DA Jackie Lacey was not able to convince the judge...
Oh, yeah, there's nothing going to turn him.
I'm not sure what we're going to do unless they go up there with tens of thousands of signatures.
Well, then that's
what
needs to happen.
I don't know that that's even going to do anything.
That's what needs to happen if that's the case. If we need tens of thousands of signatures, then that's what we need to do. I haven't seen the change.org. Did Vladimir put up another petition?
I'm not sure if he put up another one, but the original one, which had about 2,500 signatures, and those were all delivered to the judge. That did nothing. So I don't know what is going to come of this time.
Is there anything in place that puts a check to a judge's power? I mean, is there any recourse that we have?
Not when he's on his way out in a few months.
Makes a decision and you got to live with that?
Yeah. Welcome to America.
I'm kind of thinking
the system.
The system, right.
Yeah.
Senator Steve Knight said this, and so did Assemblyman Steve Fox, that, give us a piece of legislation that we can run with and we'll try to do something. And I'm kind of thinking that, there needs to be some sort of an emergency order, something to stop this. But at the same time, apparently this guy is due to be released, and he has to be released.
Why?
By law.
Change it.
Okay. Well, I don't know how that's going to change.
I mean, how many women do you get to rape before it's just beyond public safety and it's just common sense?
Well, let us not forget the last time this guy was released from prison.
Yeah.
He had been released just hours or a day or two.
Yeah,
and reoffended a woman at a bus stop.
Wasn't cooled off yet, and he was already...
Well, I think that they're thinking he's old. How old is he now, 60?
Something. And they say,
he's old.
Non-functioning.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't
functioning?
It's an act of...
Did they test it?
It's an act of rage.
No,
yeah, put a blood pressure cuff on there. And
oh, come on.
And just keep pumping.
Radio.
Keep pumping.
No, don't do that. Stop.
No.
Look, you don't have to say stop anymore, Steve.
Yeah. No FCC.
What do you mean?
You don't have to say stop.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to stop. Please.
No, but it's an act of rage. It's not a an orientation kind of thing.
And he could use whatever.
He's going to use a broken bottle. He's going to use a piece of rebar. He's going to do whatever he has to, even if bodily members aren't functioning. It's not going to stop it. The age. It's not an issue.
Well, age was referenced in the judge's order.
Terrible.
As though that was one of the qualifying things. He's of a certain age now, and
well, he's referencing what he could do probably as a judge, but everybody may not be rolling like that.
Well, but again, I have issue with the preponderance of information.
Well, there is none.
That the judge says, there's clearly I have to let him go. Now, this situation did happen with another serial rapist. Not here in the Antelope Valley, but it did happen again here in California. And I want to say, I think it was in Ventura.
Who?
And I forgot the guy's name, but when they went to release him, they couldn't find housing for him. And housing that they had found, the community flipped out and didn't want him there. So they released him from prison to a mental hospital, but they couldn't really keep him in the mental hospital because he had to be legally released. So what they did was they got a mobile home, a trailer, and they put it on the grounds of the mental hospital.
There you go.
Okay?
Well, then
and they released him to that trailer.
Move him over. Move him over and let him stay next to the other dude.
Hey, you know what, Jeff? I know where this guy
let him get a roommate.
No, he can't go there.
No, where?
I know somebody that has a couple of trailers, but they're on Division and J.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Timmy wouldn't. He's right near Fun Zone.
Yeah. You could move him, but he could roommate with the guy, with that guy, whoever he is.
Yeah. Well, everybody needs to get involved. We've seen what happens during election time when everybody. Before the election, everybody has a lot of opinions, but when it comes to the day of getting in your car and going to vote, not many people do. This looks like, with this protest, that maybe it will get more people's attention.
They got a lot of priest retirement homes.
Maybe.
Wow.
They don't have those near the schools, do they?
Maybe more people will get involved because we have to do whatever we can.
I did.
Yeah, I know. I heard that as well. I did. What we're not going to do today, because this is our debut show on AVNewsCast.com. What we're not going to do today is we are not going to break at the 15, 30, and 45 for commercials.
This is a gift.
That's
cool. A gift to our devoted listeners.
So, so we're going to go, it's a gift, and we're going to go all the way through. I do also want to say that I'm very grateful that all of our previous sponsors decided to move over with us.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank our new sponsors, and we'll update our website and we'll update their commercials, and those will be playing shortly.
Yeah, we'll find a design that will stick with Steve.
What?
Oh yeah, because last week we changed the website and then I didn't like it, so we had to go back to the original design. Okay, yeah, I didn't, myself, I didn't like it. I've heard a lot of people are very upset about what happened early Sunday morning.
Oh yeah.
In East Palmdale, at R and 10th Street East, a 20-year-old guy by the name of Roberto Rodriguez was driving his car at about 3:55 in the morning, drunk, and failed to navigate a turn, went straight, and drove directly into an apartment, and right into the bedroom of a sleeping 16-year-old Palmdale High School sophomore.
Not even safe in your own bed.
Mendoza, who was killed.
Yeah, I can't even imagine it. You think all you want to do is make sure that your kids get home safe in their bed every night. And you've got this 16-year-old daughter that you put to bed, and this is what comes through your house.
I can't even imagine, and I saw, Ed Fromer from the Antelope Valley is a press photographer. He covers a lot of events, and he actually rolled up on this event, as it occurred, and because he heard the calls going out, and I believe the footage that you see at ABC 7 came from him.
We actually have some audio. If you want to hear the from the father.
Yeah, because this is terrible. Yeah, I want to hear the audio.
Father and the sister and a neighbor. So here's cut 1 from the father. Oh, let's try this again. Still getting the feel for it. So here's cut 1 from the father.
Take 2.
All the time, for my life, she lived here. She lived here because I love a mass. For all the time.
Cut 2.
You drink, don't drive. Take somebody else. Take the party, or put somebody. Don't drink. You drink.
And sister's clearly upset.
Yeah.
She meant everything. She was my little sister. What else can I say? We're just hurt. I can't believe this happened.
Yeah.
And we have a neighbor that I believe witnessed.
I could hear it coming, and then without hesitation, I think it's a Nissan Pathfinder or whatever it is, shot right here about 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour, and into this building.
80 miles.
85 miles an hour, yeah. Into a bed.
Yeah, I drove all the way in. I mean, this SUV
in our whole
was.
room.
Well, yeah, I drove all the way in. Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. One of the things that I saw a post on Facebook last night, and somebody said, I understand in the Antelope Valley that there are about 1,000 active DUI warrants. And I think people should get out. Warrants. This is people that had been convicted of a DUI and for whatever reason didn't go back to court. What are you doing with this?
You need to lean in because he had a clue shot on you. You gotta do that too now, right? Just any distraction and you can't even finish your
I want a wall, Jeff. I want a wall. Okay.
He needs a wall, Jeff. I mean, I'm looking at the cut and you're backing out of it, so I'm telling you to go back into it. Anyway, just listen to me when I tell you.
I'm calling my agent. If I have to sit at this table one more day with her, that's
you got a writer on your contract.
There we go.
Yeah, but I saw somebody mention that there were about 1,000 active DUI arrest warrants in the Antelope Valley.
And that means you were arrested for a DUI and you didn't finish everything that you were supposed to? What does that mean exactly?
Or you didn't show up for court.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay. Or you didn't show up for court.
Well, let's hunt these guys.
You bailed out.
You got nerve.
Yeah. So, years back, there was a large DUI sweep in the Antelope Valley.
Oh, my.
The cost of doing that, and don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, all right? And I'm not saying what happened to this little girl is not serious, because it is, okay?
Yeah.
But the cost of going out, we can't go out and round up all the sex offenders that don't report and that are absconding right now.
But we should.
We should do a lot of things.
We should do that, and we should round up all the people that were caught for DUI that didn't show up for court. Now, if you don't have money,
Well, that's money well spent.
That's money well spent.
I mean, what else? What?
How much is it going to cost, Steve?
You
were going to say?
I have no clue, but put her microphone down.
Wow!
And turn mine up.
Oh.
They can hear you.
I got it. Okay.
They can hear you.
Okay. When I sit back here, it's normal modulation. When I want to argue with Angelina, I have to come all the way up here.
Oh.
Okay. To get my voice heard.
What can I say?
This father just lost his daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. And to watch him and watch the footage of him on the news was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Talking about the fact that his daughter will always forever live in his heart.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Nope.
I cannot even imagine.
So we wouldn't, the cost to round these people up. The flip side of this is this 20-year-old, this could be his first attempt or his first time driving drunk, or at least, having an accident. It doesn't really take away.
He's not even of legal age to buy alcohol.
Oh, there you go then.
Okay.
There you go. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's not even old enough to buy alcohol. And I'm sure they're going to look into where it was that he got the booze and where he had been and everything else.
Yeah, everybody's going down with him.
Mm-hmm. And God forbid had he been at somebody's house and their parents allowed this.
Oh, yeah, everybody's going down for that.
They're, as far as I'm concerned, equally culpable.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
No.
But this man and his family just lost this little girl, and a lot of people knew her. And it's terrible. But, on top of that, if you just don't drink and drive.
It's really easy to not have to deal with.
And people ask, why are they doing all these DUI checkpoints?
Well,
here's a perfect example.
Let's get real. That's not an example. The reality is that they do the DUI checkpoints because they're checking for anything other than DUIs. Hence the fact that the DUI checkpoints typically are at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Who's drunk at 6 o'clock coming out of work?
A lot of people.
Come on. No, not a lot of people. If you're really trying to do that, you're out at 10, midnight, 1 a.m. That's when you're out. Let's just be real. There's not... This guy, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
3:50 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's DUI checkpoints. In the valley, in the San Fernando Valley, you see the checkpoints out at 11 past, not 6 o'clock.
They start them at 11?
They start them at 11, like Ventura Boulevard, where a lot of bars are. Because they're checking for DUI.
They put a DUI checkpoint on Ventura Boulevard?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
On the main thoroughfare down there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
But it's after 11, so...
and you're leaving from, from the restaurant or whatever, and they're actually checking for intoxication of some sort. They're not checking to see if your mother got a license and in the back passenger is legal. They're not doing all that.
Now,
you feel me, John?
That's another thing they're adding into it, though.
What?
I was reading an article about other stuff that they piled into a DUI checkpoint recently.
They should either call a DUI checkpoint and look for intoxication of whatever, or say license check spots, random license checks, because you're not checking for, not here typically.
I'm still stuck on what are the cops doing if they can't go after these pedophiles and the drunks. 'Cause I told Steve a story last week that a friend of mine from high school mentioned on Facebook about how his 16-year-old daughter was at Marie Kerr Park and attending a birthday function, and there was this weirdo that kept following around that group of people. And at one point, she went to the bathroom there at the park, and he entered the women's restroom and started shaking the door, trying to get into the stall that she was locked into. And Steve said, "Well, there's got to be more to this."
What do you mean? What more? Do you mean?
Because they said that the cops found the guy, talked to him, and then released him.
So I said, based on that there must be more to this, and we don't know the whole story.
Now, here comes Friday at my kids' school.
Okay.
All right.
What else do you need,
The kids are leaving school. There's a group of 4 people, 2 males, 2 females. They apparently tore down a yard sale sign and wrote, an inference to oral sex that for free.
What?
And they actually grabbed one of my son's friends.
Oh, my God.
And yanked him over by the arm, one of the males, and propositioned him and offered up one of the females, and then grabbed my daughter, which it was a lesser thing. But the cops did nothing.
Yeah, keep going.
God.
And we spoke to him. We did a report, and I said, okay. And the school said, well, it wasn't on school property. It was right on the corner, on the sidewalk, adjacent to the school.
It makes
so they
it
couldn't do
okay if
anything.
it's not on school property?
I guess, well, it's not their problem. And then, and the cops just, okay, thanks. And I went out there. I met with my son's friend's mother, and she took the kids into the office to talk to do a report. And my son's friend pointed out a group of kids that he thought were possibly the ones that did this, and I followed them down J and walked with them and kept them in sight, but there was not a cop to be found. Couldn't be bothered. What are they doing?
But why isn't that a big deal?
Why isn't the old guy in the white car at least pulling up? I mean,
what do you mean?
The old volunteer duffers in the white cars.
Okay, my question,
work.
Going back to the story at Marie Kerr Park, Sheriff's Department rolled up. They talked to this alleged person, and I don't know what went on there, obviously, but I do know that they let him go for whatever reason. So I'm just merely saying that maybe we didn't know all there is to know.
How much you need to know? I mean, the 16-year-old girl was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And a grown man comes into the bathroom and starts shaking at the door to the stall. That's not enough?
That's...
Apparently not.
I don't know.
I think at least a child annoyance, isn't it?
I mean, why can't you use the reasoning that a lot of blacks and Latino get? You fit the description and take them down to the station, something. Let's fake it. That's crazy to me.
That person doesn't need to be on the streets, and neither do the ones in Lancaster.
No.
What are the cops out there doing?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
If they're not stopping that.
I don't get it.
I was just merely saying maybe there is more to the story that we don't know.
And I would have taken that before Friday.
Well, I think that there is more to the story, and I have no problem with that comment. But my comment is, what else do you need?
Yeah.
How come we can't be a society where that's enough? That's enough to get you in trouble. You cannot do that. You're a grown man going into the female bathroom. Maybe you're mentally touched. Something's wrong with you. Whatever it is, we need to do something about you. How about that?
Did he say anything to the girls? Or was he just rattling the door? And I'm not trivializing rattling the door.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of anything that was said, but the door, let's be clear on what the door was. It wasn't the bathroom door. It was the stall door, which he had to get all the way into that bathroom to get to.
I understand.
That's enough.
Things are just going through.
Was the men's bathroom closed?
Okay, something similar to that. Like, for instance, okay, maybe there was no sign up on the outside that said women's. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering.
There is a sign.
Maybe there was no sign.
There's a sign. This is a nice area.
But he was lurking.
Okay,
he was
lurking prior to that.
Their signs are up there, honey.
I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense to me that deputies are going to roll up, question this guy.
No, anything that the deputies do that might be a little wrong don't make sense. Especially
I can finally broadcast the look on Angelina's face when Steve does the cop stuff.
Yeah, because it's just amazing.
I'm just saying it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because
they're wrong, aren't they wrong, Steve?
Because if the facts, as Jeff has presented them,
look at how you have to go through all of that.
Listen to me.
To give
that preamble.
You have to go through
all of that. You didn't let me finish.
Because you have to go through like a paragraph to make it okay.
Let me finish. If the facts are correct, the way that Jeff presented them, then it makes no sense to me, and I'm appalled that the deputy would roll up.
Next time when you hear something, don't doubt it because it happens.
I go around the block a few times, then I enter the damn garage, okay?
Yeah, well, you don't
so
need to.
let
I
me...
go straight in. I go straight in.
Okay. All I'm saying is it doesn't make any sense to me that the deputies would do that. So that's why I'm saying maybe we don't know all there is to know.
Yeah,
okay?
Well, it doesn't make any sense.
And if we do, then I'm bothered that they let them go.
Not typical in the sense that, most sex offenders are not dealt with. I'm not saying that. But it's typical in that you hear that the police or the sheriffs, in a lot of cases, are not doing all that they could do. Mm-hmm. And I go straight to that because I hear it a lot. And I don't go straight to...
I've got 2 instances in 1 week.
Yeah, back to back.
In the AV.
Well, your situation, what happened with your kids on Friday, Jeff, that really bothered me. One, because they're your kids, but two, I don't understand why black and whites didn't roll up. Okay, I don't understand why the sheriff wasn't there right away. And you were thinking about some,
and my friend's mom,
this is a perfect, this is such a good example.
No, because you know what, when you try to use lingo, it just doesn't roll out for you well. It just doesn't, there's no deliverance.
Okay. I'm talking about squad cars. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I know that, but
and I don't understand why they didn't roll black and whites out to the location. And immediately, Angelina goes to race.
No, I didn't go to race.
That's what you were thinking. That's what you were thinking.
Head. Yeah. In case you guys don't know, this is where we live.
You know
He's
what?
in my head mostly.
Back up the tape. Look at the look on her face, and she was like, "Why would you say that to me?" I'm telling you.
No.
I'm telling you.
I live a very diverse life with all colors.
Okay. Anyway, I don't understand. I'm just not even going to pay attention to that. I don't understand why they didn't send SWAT cars out. Why the school principal...
That's at the least assault. I mean, he grabbed the kid.
Yeah. That's physical.
And yanked him. And the friend showed me. He grabbed me the way he was grabbed and yanked. And I mean, it was no joke.
No,
he almost pulled me off my feet. He's a big kid, so strong enough to do that. But
yeah, I totally I don't understand that.
I don't mean to go off subject because I meant to mention this when we were talking about the 20-year-old that went into the house. But what is this whole thing about legalizing powder alcohol?
What?
You didn't hear?
No, go ahead. Tell me about that.
I saw an article. It was on Facebook, actually. Linda posted it. And it was about the fact that they want to legalize powder alcohol.
What is powder alcohol?
Alcohol that's in powder form, Steve.
What?
Never heard of that.
Oh, well, you should be up on your current events a little bit. Just saying.
You know what?
Powder alcohol.
I've never heard of it in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't know alcohol could exist in a
me either.
Form.
Well, they want to legalize it.
Chemically, I don't even understand how it could be possible.
Yeah. Well, are you a chemist?
Oh.
No, I'm not.
I'm not either. I'm just saying it, but they figured out a way to put it in the powder.
Oh, well, Linda, if you're listening to the show, you can call me on my cell phone right now and you can tell me all about powder alcohol.
Yeah,
I'll put you
call
on live.
him, Linda.
I have never heard that in my life.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I've never heard that in my life. You know, we were talking just a minute ago about the protest up here for Christopher Hubert, and that there were a lot of candidates there. Mm-hmm. Saturday night, Jackie Owens brought Tony Strickland over. We were at a baseball game.
Yeah, that was cool.
Okay. So Tony was out slumming the Antelope Valley.
Why do you say it like that?
I'm kidding, but I haven't seen him up here in the Antelope Valley. Ooh. Okay. So he was up here at the baseball game, and it was nice to meet him. One thing that I've noticed with the primary coming up, one thing that's so very important, and I'm not seeing all the candidates doing it, is utilize social media.
Yeah.
Okay? If everybody didn't learn
from Obama,
from our last presidential campaign, you really need to, everybody needs to, and I'm not pointing this out.
There's Linda.
I'll go ahead and do this too.
Yeah, please.
Let's see if I can do this. Hey, Linda, you there?
I'm here, Steve.
Oh, good.
Oh, look at that. That works.
I'm glad you called, Linda.
Tell me about powdered alcohol.
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 Like it's your best friend. And they have now powdered it and made it legal. And it just blows my mind. The U.S. government has approved powdered alcohol. They had to rework their marketing hastily, according to the article. But they're now going to make it legal to powder alcohol and sell it so that you don't even have to have a liquid form. Now, what scares the hell out of me is what that's going to do for the kids. You know darn well they're going to try to smoke it. They're going to try to snort
so you're going to snort that and then vape your e-cig?
And it has been approved.
And the FDA approved this?
Yes, sir, they did. The U.S. Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau had rubber stamped alcohol, but they made the decision public without the manufacturers even realizing they had done so. By autumn of this year, it's going to be legal to sell 7 flavors of it in the U.S.
Crazy. Crazy.
Get the flavors. Cosmopolitan, Mojito, Powdered Rita, which is like a margarita.
Right.
And it's literally going to be worse than, according to the article, going to a concert, because the cost of this stuff is really, really going to be cheap. It's going to be a fraction of what regular alcohol costs.
That's crazy.
And then he said, for an extra kick, you ought to try experimenting by sprinkling alcohol on almost any dish.
Oh
yeah. So
that way you're drinking on a full stomach.
Oh yeah. So some of our favorite recipes are, let's take the kamikaze and put it in guacamole.
Oh, you put it in your pop brownies.
On a barbecue stand.
Really have a good time.
Let's put vodka on the eggs in the morning to start your day off.
Man.
That's crazy.
If they cook it, of course, the website warns it'll wear out the alcohol. So you're going to cook the food first and then out the alcohol.
Instead of salt, you put some powdered.
Yep, and it even admits in the article that you can snort it and get drunk almost instantly because it'll be absorbed right up your nose.
This is really real. I mean, this isn't something that you saw on The Onion or something. This is real.
No. This is real. I verified it in 4 ways. And here's the irony: they're doing the release of this article during U.S. Alcohol Awareness Month.
They want us to be aware.
18 million Americans have an alcohol abuse problem.
Well,
and we thought it was going to be a problem to legalize marijuana.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is going to be 10 times worse.
Oh yeah.
And here's what scares me the most. You know, Chuck was asking me, well, why don't we just have a registry of drunks? The problem is we already do. It's called the legal system, and that isn't working. The only way we're ever going to change this culture is by changing the culture itself. Mm-hmm. We have to make it absolutely unacceptable to drink and drive, which Matt has done a great effort in. You know, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving have done a major campaign. The Just Say No campaign have done well. But the truth is, if you're going to drink and you have a problem, nothing is going to stop you, including the fact that you have these little machines attached to the car, which make it impossible to drive. They just get around it.
Yeah.
Until we deal with prevention, and until we really deal with recovery, it's all over. Yeah. I have my heart broken again and again by people I love who have done stupid things. And every single person we know is affected. Alcohol and abuse of drugs is a family disease. It is not something just for the person who's doing it. It affects everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called the merry-go-round of denial. Oh, I can handle my liquor. I can handle my pot. I'm only smoking a little.
I can stop anytime I want to.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's really, we need to have no space for it. We need to figure out something other than going to the bars and drinking until oblivion, and that be your entertainment for the night. And even if that, you know, because I know that God knows that we don't want to take money from the bar owners, right? Because we can't stop people from making money. At the very least, mandate cab service. We have the ability to put in place preventative measures that would cause people to not get in a car and drive drunk and roll into people's apartment buildings and other in other things. We need to just take the step up and do something else. And stop being afraid of everything else in the world. It's like ridiculous. The stuff that we got legal will kill you. Between the guns that everybody wants to have and your drinky drink, you're killing us.
Yeah, but there's something worse. And this is the elephant in the room that I keep screaming about. And this is the one thing I keep begging anybody who will listen to me. I sit with the teens. I sit with them every day, the young adults and the teens. We do nothing to invest in them. And then we wonder why we have problems. Yep. I sat with them on Friday night. In fact, it was wonderful. Jim Winburn was there. And they kept looking at us saying, what is there for us to do other than to go rage or get high?
Yeah.
We need places for them to be that are safe. The minute you have a group of teenagers, people are afraid. We used to have the most incredible crump dancing. It was wonderful. You had a group of kids that would dance battle. How healthy is that instead of killing each other in the streets?
What happened to that?
It got scared off. People got scared because guess what? You had a bunch of kids together in one place. We need to offer them those kinds of experiences. We need to have art-offs and dance-offs and places for them to hang out. Right now, the only choices they have are house parties in the desert.
Well, they have Renaissance, at least, on the boulevard.
If you're not into sports or church, it's all over for you in the AV. It's never had a good culture for students or young people.
I can attest to that.
They're begging for it.
Yeah, but Linda, let me ask you a question. Because when I was a teenager, we weren't out doing what teenagers are doing today.
What'd you do?
Okay?
What'd you do?
We were.
What did we do? Yeah, it was pretty much movies. Mm-hmm. Or, I grew up in Westwood, so Westwood was a happening place when you were a teenager.
Yeah, and you could go, but you could walk the boulevard. You could walk Westwood Boulevard.
Yeah.
We're talking about a rural community where half the kids are so poor they can't even get to school. I have students every day who have to walk from Lancaster to Palmdale or catch a bus they can't always afford.
Wow.
You don't understand that the economy is different. Our kids today can't get to jobs like we used to. See, they can't go babysit and mow lawns without being in trouble.
Yeah.
They're not being hired to go to work at McDonald's. We need to create a work habits development center. I've been screaming for that, too. Half my kids don't even know how to have a job because they don't know how to have time management. They've never had to learn it.
Right.
If we really want to see change, it starts with our youth, and we pay lip service to it all the time. I watch every politician get up there, and they make me sick because, frankly, they pay lip service to paying attention to the future, and nobody's investing in doing it.
You're right.
We need places for them to go and ways for them to learn work. One of the coolest programs in town is City Build, which is great. Youth Build is great if you're into construction. But what are we doing for our artists? What are we doing for the poets? That's why the new group that I've started for the kids, they've taken over. The Antelope Valley Voice is going to be a place for them to write a book. You know what they want to do? They want to write a book celebrating their valley, not as a place of being the ghetto or ratchet, but of being a place of wonder and beauty. But we need to support that. And I don't see a whole lot of adults stepping up to the plate saying, yeah, let me help you. Let me help you celebrate a culture that says it's not cool to get drunk. It's not cool to get high. We're going to celebrate your creativity. I don't see a whole lot of people saying, here, let's do patronage of the arts.
But Linda, let me ask you a question. Hey, Jeff, did you do something to the mics and the headphones?
Oh, I gave it a little jiggle. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question, Linda. But doesn't a lot of that begin at home?
If you have a home, you don't understand in this town.
And you can't default that to the parents when they're trying their best to put food on the table.
I'm not, so don't get. But I will definitely say that a lot of parents don't do their damn job. That
Absolutely.
I will say.
Yeah,
okay,
it's very true. But we're still stuck with these kids.
And the truth is, Steve, it's not the kids' fault that we have kids that have 10, 12, 15 foster care homes. Mm-hmm. I had two students that the ones who are leading the parade for this group that wants to do a book. Two of the most autistic kids in the world who've been in and out of foster care their whole lives. They want to make a change. They're willing to step up to the plate. But you know what? It's hard to do when your mom's always working. I was a working mom and spent my whole life living under two things. And I regret both. I chose not to make the big bucks most of the time because I wanted to be in my daughter's life. If you're a single parent, you live under fear of someone hurting your child or taking your child while you work, or you live under guilt for not being there. Mm-hmm. And that's got to change. If we came together as a village to give them things they want to do, we need a great gaming place. I've begged for that. I have a ton of teenagers that would get together, young adults, where they would just hang out and play video games against each other in a healthy, positive way.
You know, I agree with what you just said, Linda, and that was something that we've talked about a couple of years back, that if the Antelope Valley had a gaming place, okay? Mm-hmm. Imagine a place like this. This is my vision. It's 30,000 square feet, all right? Inside there's 100 PS4s, 100 Xbox Ones, a lot of older PS3s, whatever's in there, okay? Plus a lot of other stuff. It was a safe haven where parents knew that they could not only bring their kids there, but they could leave them there because the kids couldn't get out.
Hello, you're talking about what we had in the 80s. It's called an arcade.
Yeah.
Well, no.
We need to step it up and open up some more arcades, some new time arcades.
It would be great.
Because that's what I did when I grew up. You know, we went to the arcade on Fridays and Saturday nights. That's where we were. And we played Pac-Man and Centipede, and we closed it down at 11:30. And if we weren't there, we were at the movies, and we had a curfew.
I drew up years and years ago, back in 1992, my dream vision for the Antelope Valley. It would have a family-style restaurant where everybody sits together and has communal food. You know, big pots of spaghetti that the whole family shares, salad, pizza, whatever. And then there's a main stage. The adults get to watch the main stage show, but off to the side is a whole video arcade with room for the young babies, too, so that you had glass where the parents could see the kids at all times. The babies could have a sleeping room.
It sounds like Vince's.
Well, Vince is only better because the truth is you can't see the kids everywhere you are in the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, you don't have enough of affordability there. But one price tag admission. You know, make the dinner and the entertainment all one price tag. And you'll have people flocking the place. It can be dry or it can be alcohol for the parents. I prefer dry.
Yeah.
But you have a place where the family can go and the parents get to watch a main stage show. Whatever it is that week. You can have all different kinds of entertainment. It was based on an idea that I saw down in Hollywood that closed down. The servers would be singers, artists, sword swallowers. They'd entertain you at the table, roving magicians. They would
sword swallowers?
Yeah.
Whatever. And they would entertain the family during dinner.
Call my friends.
And then when the main show would start, there's a place for the kids and the family to go, while the parents get to hang out and just be adults. And everybody stays under one roof. I've longed to see that one. I've had that dream since '92.
How come the one in Hollywood closed down?
Unfortunately, it was owned by two owners that were partners, and they ended up having a battle, and they fought, and they closed off.
Well, I do agree that something needs...
Wow, there it goes.
Technical difficulty.
That's a shame.
I do agree that something needs to be done in the Antelope Valley, but it's every community. But they're, you know, not getting high, not smoking pot, you're a teenager, not getting drunk,
right?
Really is cool.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
To not do that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that comes from the home.
Right.
Okay?
I don't know how it comes from the home.
Today, and we need to help the parents.
It's how you bring up your kids.
Yeah, it's the example you said. If you get, you know, the kids are home and you're plastered.
Listen, just to be, you know, without telling too much business, you could be brought up in a home where parents sanction heavy alcohol and drug use and end up not using either.
Right.
So you don't paint a picture, because the picture it's fluid and it always changes, and it depends on who you are as a person. So, and you could be in a household where it's dry as dry can be, and you got a pothead kid and an alcoholic child. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but
one important thing, and it has to start here. If and when people finally mean it, that they really give a damn about the youth of their city, they do creative things for those kids. and they come together to give them things to do. A dance battle would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Get those kids off the streets. Get them art. Get them entertainment besides sports. Not everybody wants to play basketball. I'm sorry. But not everybody wants to paint either.
Right.
You just got to have a place that's a real rec center that's affordable. And the amount of money that it costs to do anything today is out of control because we don't make it affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't give them jobs. If you want to teach kids responsibility, you got to give them an opportunity to have it. When I give these kids who are 18, 19 years old a student project, even though they're earning class credit for it, you'd be stunned at what they'll do.
Yeah.
Some of my kids, I call them all kids, I get in trouble, I'm sure, because they're all adults, they're college students. I'll give them a college project, and they stay on with it. One of the groups that I started was a group of 4 kids who decided to go help out and investigate animal rescue. To this day, months later, they're still going out there and helping with the animal rescue and staying out of trouble. Give them a platform, and they'll use it. But they need the help.
I understand, and I agree with that. And what I was saying, Angelina, is a lot of it does start in the home.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of parents that don't give a damn, that don't take an interest in their kids' lives. Mm-hmm. If we could just take that percentage, that would be a huge percentage. Okay?
It would be a huge percentage, but I think the reality in that is, like Linda was speaking of fear, of worrying about your child. The other fear is keeping your job, to keep the roof over your head. And that's a real fear for...
home, but until you have... Look, I'm a mom. I was one of the most exhausted mothers of all time. I was a single mom. Dad was gone before my kid was even born. I never got a dime of child support. I worked my butt off. But you know what I had to choose? I had to choose between the big career and being with my kid. And many people didn't like the fact that my kid went with me everywhere. Even she didn't like it. But I'll tell you what, I had a hell of a lot more peace of mind.
Yeah.
But the price tag is massive.
Yeah.
The price tag is huge to do that. Because, you know what? I didn't want to make that commute down below. Money wasn't a priority. My kid was. You got to help the parent. Mm-hmm. They don't want to leave their kids. Most parents love their children. Unfortunately, you have an awful lot of foster kids. And if you saw the number of foster kids that I've seen who've been through 10, 12, 15 homes, no stability whatsoever, you can't imagine when you say it starts at home. What is home? That's the biggest problem. 3/4 of the kids don't know what a home is.
Okay, well, we're gonna talk to that on some of the upcoming shows, Linda.
Yeah.
We are teaming up and creating a partnership with DCFS, and so we're really going to talk to that one particular point: foster kids and adoption, and the trials, tribulations, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that kind of stuff on some of the upcoming shows.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know it. Angelina is going through the process right now.
Yeah, and it's the scariest thing that I've ever said yes to.
Right.
It is literally the scariest thing I've ever said yes to. But you know what? I think that first part, I won't get on the subject because I can go on and on. But the first thing was I'm sitting in a class. Now, my kids are grown. I've raised them with the best knowledge that I gathered together. But I'm thinking every person that's pregnant needs to go through this MAP class that I'm going through right now. Because it's tremendously improved the grandmother that I am, although I'm still going to spoil. That's just my prerogative. But it's improved the grandparent that I am, and it's going to improve the parent that I become, whether I choose to adopt or foster. It's going to improve all of that. But everybody needs to have this experience.
Yeah, there should be a license.
There was a program that I was involved with where you can partner up as a family with kids who were in trouble at camps. And although you didn't adopt them or become their, quote, official foster parents, you became kind of their official big brother or big sister.
Well, that was Big Brothers of America, right?
No, it was a different program. It wasn't an official program. But people who cared enough to do it could do it. I had done that. I had a kid. His name was Roger. And we worked with Roger forever. Unfortunately, Roger was so damaged that he ended up getting into more and more trouble, and no matter how many times we got to him, it was just too late for Roger. He'd been to 32 separate foster care homes.
Oh.
And by the time we got to him, he'd been so molested, so abused, so there was no saving him. He's dead now, and it broke my heart to lose him. But I will say this much. I know there's a better way. I know that we can do more. And you know what? The most important thing we need to do is have the kids tell us what they need. And what I'm begging you to do, because you have the power to do it, is to do what they asked me to do. I can't do alone. I want a summit, not the same old damn summit we always hear about. I want a chance for the kids to sit down and be heard by people who actually really, really want to hear what they have to say and then act on it. We can get a real summit together with the kids, not just the good kids, the famous kids. That's the ones you always hear from. I'm talking about the kids who have to deal with foster care. I'm talking about the kids who are walking 20 miles one way to go to school, trying to make a better way than their parents. First-time college students, 18 to 21-year-olds who don't really believe they have a future. And get them in a room and listen. Listen to what they suggest, because you know what? Their ideas are brilliant. And if anybody would hear them, we could see massive change.
Yeah, well, we're talking about that too, because that's another aspect.
Yeah, that's part of it
that we've been looking into with DCFS.
We'll have to bring Linda back to
is listening to the kids. You know, so we're going to do that too. Hey, I don't want to cut you off, but our show goes off the air, and really we don't have to go off the air, but we really kind of do.
Yeah.
So but it was great that you called in.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, guys. Of course, I appreciate everything you do.
Thanks.
Making a difference.
Thank you. Thanks, Linda. Have a really good day, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I guess that's our live call-in line. My cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, no, we've got that on.
But that is something that we're going to do in the future. It is in the very near future. Is team up with DCFS, and so we're going to bring a lot of that information to everybody. And I do want to hear from the kids too, because there are a lot of kids up there that have had terrible experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one aspect that people don't talk to. And I want to talk to that.
Yeah.
And
why are you smiling at me? Don't smile at me. I want a wall, okay?
You should just see him, because I could see, and I could see in Steve's head, I'm supposed to get close to the mic because he's standing in, so he does. He's just a cracker.
I'm getting close because Jeff played with the. He did something.
Okay.
I lost sound and microphone.
Oh, okay.
So
now
that's
I've
why
got
I
it.
was doing that.
Okay.
It's there was a lot more that I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah,
but we spent
fine.
a lot of time with Linda. But that was
day.
important stuff. But there is a major disconnect with parents and their children. I see it day in and day out.
There is,
okay?
Steve. There is.
I see it with kids that are friends with my son. Okay, and their parents. I see the disconnect, and it bothers me because there's no reason for that at all. None at all. And that's part of the problem that the Antelope Valley, that every community has. But today, everybody is so busy, and you talked a little bit to it. The parents have to make a decision between my career or getting fired if I leave early.
The career, just I got to keep the job.
I understand that.
At McDonald's, that you don't want to give them an increase. To increase minimum wage. You don't want to give them that.
I look at it, that's a whole nother topic, and I look at it from both sides, okay?
Okay. All right, well, good thing it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, so we're done with our debut show.
Yes.
I really had a lot of other stuff I wanted to cover, but we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah. You got us every day.
Okay.
Came on kind of loud. But
Jeff is now in
fade
charge,
it in,
so,
yeah.
All right. Thanks for making us the #1 news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley. You're listening to AVNewsCast.com. We're here Monday through Friday live from 8 to 9 a.m. Have a really great and safe day, and we'll be back tomorrow.